No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And good morning, it's Monday. This is Mike Lodge, I am the business advisor. And not only is it Monday, but it's President's Day. Now, this used to be called George Washington's birthday because he was the father of our country, the very first president. But then they decided, let's just not discriminate against all the other presidents. Let's just call it President's Day and let's be in celebration of our president. Well, that's okay, but the only people who really get it off are banks and government organizations. The rest of us, we're working. I'm here working. In fact, I didn't even know it was President's Day until I was listening to the news this morning and found out it was President's Day. So they don't really do much promotion on it. So what are we talking about this morning? The first thing I want to talk about is, and I'm getting hit daily with emails from people posing as PayPal, Amazon, Microsoft. I get them every single day. I have made a purchase of $900 to $700, and if you have any questions, call us. And they're all from non-company emails. They're all from Gmail and all these other stuff. And they're constantly trying to get you to call them so that they can get into your computer system. And that's not what is ethical at all. They're fraudsters. They're shamsters. They're idiots is what they are. And you've got to be very careful about these people because they try to send, like for my company, I have several email accounts, right? I get the same email going to every single account. And so they're really stupid fraudsters because at some point you say, these guys are idiots because they keep trying to do this. And then you also get various emails, I've been tracking you for so much, and it's this long, drawn-out email. Seems like they feel as though if they can put an email together with a whole bunch of words that you're going to think that they're really serious. I get them all. And so what I did one day is I sat down and I drilled back into where they were coming from, and most of them are coming from Pakistan. Most of them are coming from India. So you've got those two countries out there soliciting fraud scams, and you got to watch out for them. So my first message to you today, if you're getting these emails, block them and delete them as quickly as possible because you don't want them to have any type of spyware or anything else that's on their systems. If you see an email, don't open it up, block them, and don't deal with them because they're just trying to get in so that they can get into your computer system and hopefully get into your bank system. So you got to be very careful, people. We've got shamsters out there all over the place. In fact, I was reading this morning that there's a whole bunch of Ponzi schemes that the Department of Justice is going after. One of them was a Ponzi scheme who raised $650 million on cattle and pot profit promises. They get a 6 years in federal prison. Ponzi schemers on cattle. I would never get into a Ponzi scheme. If somebody said, hey, I want you to invest in cows, nah, I'm not going there. Or pot, nah, I'm not going there. Because they're probably smoking a lot of that stuff. As the money comes in, they're probably smoking it all away. We have to be very careful and very vigilant on all the stuff that comes through our email and comes through letters and everything else, because a lot of it are fraud. A lot of it is fraud. And so we have got to be very careful about what goes through our systems, because they're very tricky and they know how to get into the system. you go onto YouTube, and in their video section, there are so many people who fight back and they go after these fraudsters. And that's the only way that we can get away from this sham is by being proactive, giving them a hard time too. You're going to have a lot of people call with an Indian accent, and if you hear that, and they're talking about Microsoft, and if they're talking about Amazon and other stuff, or even the IRS, a lot of them are calling up on IRS, and the new one is on school loans, okay? So if you hear that stuff, hang up immediately, because it's nothing but fraud. Nothing but fraud. And we're getting faced with it more and more every single day. The other thing I want to talk about, Amazon shelves does away with remote work. Disney is asking that everybody return to work too. Now, this is important, because if you look at the quality of customer service, it's gone downhill in a handbasket. I mean, it's really bad. It's very difficult to get in and talk to these people, or even to get help. Customer service and quality control has deteriorated by these people working from home. And we've got to get back to it so that there are people right there that can help immediately. If somebody calls in and is talking to a customer service rep, they need to be able to talk to that manager right then. But it's very difficult right now when people are all over the place working from home. So Amazon shelves it and Disney shelves it because it just is not working anymore, these people out of their homes anymore. People, and I'm going to tell you what I see, is that when I'm doing mediation work, a lot of times these people are working, but they're holding mediation sessions while they're working. So other stuff is being done while people are supposed to be working. So I see it, and I hear it, and I know it. So we have got to curb back on a lot of this working from home, because the productivity has drained the company's reputation a lot of times, because people are unable to get answers to their questions. It's very, very important. And in fact, if you look at Disney, there's a report this morning that said Disney workers rebel against return to office mandate. 2,300 employees don't want to go back to work. Do you know what? Listen, 2,300, there's a lot of people out in America that would love to work for Disney and go into the office and work from Disney. Those 2,300 are woke. These are the types of individuals who want it their way and not what the company wants. They want it their way. They have become self-absorbed. They have become very selfish, and now they want it only their way. Do it my way, or whatever they're going to say. But Disney workers are rebelling. 2,300 at-home workers. It's a sad situation to see. The other thing I heard this morning is that there's more layoffs coming, and Motown Records initiated layoffs. So Motown is laying off people because they're merging with a label called Capitol Music Group. They're returning to Capitol Music Group, so they're laying off their employees. And we're going to see more and more of that too. It's not just because of economic reasons people are getting laid off a lot of times. It's because companies are merging with other companies, so you've got duplicity and people that are doing the same job. So people have got to go. That happens in mergers and acquisitions. Now, the other thing I was thinking about this morning, Dropbox is heavily invested in office space in the San Francisco Bay Area. And so they were looking at their finances, and the CFO was explaining that they're having a problem with the real estate market there. And the article stated, Dropbox finance chief warns San Francisco office space market has deteriorated. So they're losing some money. Now, the verbiage that they're using is not that they're losing money. So they came up with a new term, and they said Dropbox recorded a real estate impairment of $162.5 million in the fourth quarter. An impairment. Not that they're losing money, not that they're having a problem in their in their financial reporting. They have an impairment. Only in San Francisco, in the corporate world, will you come up with new terms of calling it an impairment. I tell you, I laugh at this because everybody's trying to change the terminology of business out there so it doesn't sound quite as bad. I'm sorry, I lost $500 million in the fourth quarter. It's just an impairment. No, it's a loss. It's a big-time loss. The other thing I want to talk about, Meta. And as you know, Meta has gone through a lot of layoffs. That's Facebook for all the rest of us. Meta, Facebook, it's all the same company. They've gone through a lot of layoffs. And so employees are upset. These are woke employees. Remember, people who work at Facebook, the majority of them are woke employees, okay? So Meta has had to increase they had to increase the security for Mark Zuckerberg because of job losses, because he's getting threats from his own former employees. Listen, when you've got employees, threatening the founder of a company, you've got woke employees, okay? Because wokeness always results in some type of violence or disturbance. It's just one of those bad things. So they had to spend increases by 40% to $14 million after dismissing 11,000 employees. So you got some woke employees there. Who doesn't like what Mark Zuckerberg has done is laying off? Now, to Zuckerberg's credit, what he's trying to do is get the company to run more efficiently. And he's found that he's had too much headcount, and too much of that headcount was not delivering on anything. They were just there doing their stuff. And so the question he put out to managers last year was, get rid of those who are not producing. So to me, I have no problems with what Mark Zuckerberg did. In fact, every single company should be doing the same thing. In this economic downturn or recession that we are going through, companies need to take a very close look at those individuals who are not producing. If they are not putting something back into the company, it's time to get rid of them. That's just how it should be. So, calling people back into the office really gives a sign of who's woke out there and who should probably be let go. If Disney has 2,300 employees that don't want to come back to work, fine, don't let them come back to work. Replace them, because it's just that simple. So we talked a lot this morning about fraud and work and security and everything else. But remember that today is your day to do something great. If you are off today, do something for yourself and relax, rest, take a look at what you want to do for the future. Get your journal out and start writing and start planning. Because we're going to have to go through this recession in this inflationary period for another 2 years. It's not going to get any better. If you want to have more access to me, go to www.lodge.co.com. If you have a business question, send it to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. Everybody, have a great day. Love you guys a lot. See you later. Bye.